In terms of where the program has come from and where it's going, the biggest rise has been over the last 5-10 years, whereas it's like expected now. We won our first Big Ten title during COVID time, which is when you would think that things would not work out, and we had some kids that are like incredibly invested.
Iowa field hockey has a tradition of excellence that only 3 to 4 schools in the country can match. For over 50 years, as the sport has been sponsored, we have been in the national championship conversation. I think we attract really compelled women who are driven, relentless, competitive, very selfless. They come here wanting to go to work and have success and get a fantastic education.
I think we've made a lot of strides in just the overall program and its visibility. And so now you got to go back, and in order to recruit the very best, you got to have the total package.
Right now, we don't have a home. We wander from place to place. Having a place to go on a daily basis that is our home is going to be incredibly impactful to the team and to me, so that, when we walk into a space, we're not guests. We walk into a space and it's ours. We'll be able to fully integrate into the experience of being an athletic team, which we haven't had in the past.
So our new facility is an amazing opportunity for our student athletes to have one place to go train at. We don't have to be at multiple places, which we currently are at different places around campus. This will just make it a game changer.
As one of those consistent top 10 programs, our ability to stay relevant and attract top recruits completely correlates to our ability to upgrade our facilities and have all the pieces that we need for our program. We are so grateful for the support that the department has provided us for all of the resources and how we travel, how we eat, how we outfit our student athletes. And the missing piece for our program is to have an operations building on site. And that's what our top 10 competitors have right now. And we need the support to be able to build a building so we can really enhance our student athletes' experience and continue to achieve at the highest level.
While we're preparing for basketball games and football games, we're also practicing for nationals. And I think it's just going to allow us to continue to bring the best of the best here to Iowa and to continue to be competitive on the national stage and continue to represent the Iowa Hawkeyes the best way that we possibly can.
Will it help in recruiting? Absolutely. What the whole picture of recruiting is that you want your incoming athletes to be able to picture themselves in this place, getting better, achieving their goals, seeing themselves at the next level, being able to commit to doing certain skills in that facility. And I think it's coming at a great time as we are trying to make that push into the next level. We will continue to push for national championships. The facility will make a massive difference.
The Hawkeye fans are so supportive of our program and what we do. We enjoy seeing you at every game, every event. We really couldn't do this without you.
I think that the spirit group, the cheerleaders, the dance team, Herky, we represent what it is to be an Iowa Hawkeye.
Investment in a program matters, and it will make a difference. It will help us get over the hump, and these women would be so unbelievably appreciative.
For all of you out there that are considering providing with the facility in any aspect that you could, we're so grateful.
Our Iowa female student athletes are impressive in every way. They rise in every sense of the word. Women's sports is on the rise, and these women know how to rise to the level of competition, how to engage the fans, how to be role models. They can show them that they can perform at this level on this stage and still have so many other pieces of their life that they want to accomplish, and I think that's just unbelievable.
There's nothing better than being part of this amazing time right now where women's athletics, the visibility is huge. And to say that we had a hand in growing that is really important.
It's bigger than just a game.
Keep your eye on number 22. Are looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes!
These moments have a greater impact on the next generation. She wants to be strong like her, determined like her, confident like her, win like her.
You know it's
This is why we do it. We are on the rise, and it's only the beginning for her. It's time to support her. Together, Hawkeye Women Rise.
This is the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, presented by the Iowa City Area Sports Commission.
My entire life had revolved around competitive sport. And so it was that experience that gave me the drive to try to change things.
Because we have nothing to lose and we have absolutely everything to gain.
Hawkeye Women Rise podcast highlights the past, present, and future of Iowa women's sports. We tell remarkable stories, highlight incredible accomplishments both in competition and life, feel inspired by the stories of adversity overcome, and celebrate Iowa women's athletics. Together, Hawkeye Women Rise. Live from the Iowa Athletic Club in the Iowa River Landing, this is Hawkeye Women Rise, presented by the Iowa City Area Sports Commission. Here's the host of Hawkeye Women Rise, Iowa tennis coach Sasha Schmid.
Welcome to the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast from the Athletic Club and the Iowa River Landing. We are so excited to welcome in our guests live in person and have our Hawkeye fans join us today for lunch. I've got two incredible women with us today, and today is December 12th, and that is 12/12. So very fittingly, I have my two favorite number 12s joining me today. Number 12 from her playing days at Brevard and Clemson University, former collegiate soccer player, our interim athletic director, Beth Goetz. Welcome to Hawkeye Women Rise.
So happy to be here with you guys today.
Thank you, Beth. And our very own number 12, our three-time All-American goalkeeper from the Iowa field hockey team, our current head coach, Lisa Cellucci.
Thanks for having me. So excited to be here. Happy Hawk Day, Beth.
Two great number 12s. I know that's been a source of something that you realized and a nice little source of something that you have in common with each other. You were the first to pick it up.
I did a lot of research, and I saw Beth in a Clemson uniform with pictures on number 12, and right away I was like doing high fives. I knew this was going to be a great thing going forward.
Well, you know, athletes and their numbers, it's such a superstition with us and something we hang on to indefinitely. So there is just no doubt that if you were wanting to know what our passcodes were, and they definitely have a number 12 in them. But it's, you know, it's something we carry with us, and it stays throughout our lifetime, clearly. So finding another number 12 is the best.
Absolutely. Well, and 12/12, it was the perfect day for you guys to be on the show.
Doesn't get any better than that. Yeah.
Before we get started, and I've got so many things to ask you, we have some exciting news out of Iowa field hockey today, this morning. Can you just give us a quick update on some exciting announcements that were released this morning, Lisa?
Yes, two new National All-Americans. Esme Gibson, fifth-year senior. She was a second-team National All-American, and she is our 104th National All-American in program history, and actually only the 10th three-time All-American. So unbelievable student-athlete for 5 years, so deserving of this honor. And then freshman Dion Van Alsum, first-team National All-American, first freshman to be a National All-American since 1989. So unbelievable honor and so well-deserved. I mean, she led the country in points and goals, and, you know, this isn't a surprise, but it's still such a huge honor.
Can you give us a quick recap on your season? I know it's hard to wrap it all into one summary, but it was too successful to not be able to.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really exciting season. You know, a lot of unknown going in, just with graduating 8 seniors, bringing in 9 newcomers. But you know, we had a great year, great mix of experience and youth. 9 newcomers who really made their mark, and numerous returners who contributed in big ways. We had something really special going on. You know, we rose to number 1 in the country for about 5 weeks. Then at the beginning of Big Ten play, we had 2 devastating season-ending injuries to 2 top players, and that was really hard from a depth perspective. But you know, I was so impressed with how the team rallied when adversity hit, and we had a lot of people step up. We had 4 top 5 wins and set ourselves up for the postseason. Ultimately, we advanced to our 28th NCAA Sweet 16, finished the season ranked 8th in the country, and there just were so many great performances, lots of team growth, and we are so excited for the future as we have so much to build on. Just want to give a huge shout out to my amazing staff, Michael Bowl and Jess Barnett. They were absolute wizards, from practice plans to scouts of our opponents to formations and changes we had to make. And they're really two of the very best in the country, and so lucky to work alongside of them. So again, just really proud of the team for how we persevered, and a lot to build on.
Very exciting. Congrats on a wonderful, successful season. Another one, historic.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about our Hawkeye Women Rise Capital campaign. So we've, named this podcast after the Capital campaign. There's such a good parallel track and mission in terms of raising awareness and support for our Hawkeye women's programs. And I know this has been something that really been a priority for you. So I know our Hawkeye community would love to be able just to hear you kind of talk about your philosophy and vision behind Hawkeye Women Rise and the Hawkeye Women Rise Capital campaign.
Well, the short answer is you're still standing on the shoulders of the 50 years that came before, and so proud to be at an institution that's been such a leader in supporting women, across all spectrums, and certainly in sports. And Dr. Grant was here just in time to help celebrate 50 years of Iowa women's sports last year, and so that was really neat. And so we wanted to be able to leverage all the great things that we're seeing, and all the great things that are happening with our teams. And so how we wanted to do that was to leverage them as a group, and so to look at all of our women's teams, women's programs, and what their needs are, and say, hey, we have this moment, how do we capitalize on that, and how do we generate awareness and support to allow them to continue to be as special as they have been. And so the Hawkeye Women's Rise campaign, and in partnership with Sloan and the Foundation and Kelsey and so many others, the goal really is to raise awareness and to generate support. And support comes in lots of different ways, and sometimes that's showing up at games and buying tickets, and it's also philanthropic support. And when we say support, there are resources needed for these teams to compete at the highest level, and so that's in scholarships, endowments, operational support, and facilities. And so each of our teams are represented in that campaign, and it just gives us the ability to talk a little bit about that. In particular, I know one of the priorities for field hockey is a new operations facility, and we're really excited about that. But happy to talk more about that. For those of you that are interested in supporting, you can visit HawkeyeWomen'sRise.org. You can see Sloan, the foundation staff, coach, myself, any of us, and we're happy to share what those needs are. But so grateful for the support that's got us here today, and excited about what that can mean moving forward.
And really, it's exciting because, celebrating the past 50 years, Hawkeye Women Rise and the Capital campaign is just a lovely way to launch into the next 50, to be able to use this moment in time to make us really feel like we're continuing that momentum forward. And I've loved that vision, and it's something that's really close to my heart too. And I know, Lisa, you're very proud to be a part specifically about this Capital campaign, and I wanted to hear from you what Beth mentioned, building a field hockey operations building, and why that's important to you. You have made that a priority. I know that's one of the things that you wake up every morning working hard to continue to make come true for your program. Why is that important, and why are you so passionate about making that a reality?
Yeah, there's lots of reasons. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. I think first and foremost, for people who don't know, I've been a part of Iowa field hockey for almost 30 years, and have had this amazing responsibility to go to work every day and just carry on the tradition and make sure this program thrives at the highest level. We have, I don't know if a lot of people know about the history of field hockey and the success of our sport, but it's unmatched in Division I field hockey. There's maybe 3 or 4 programs in the country that can compete. And, for us, we are the only women's team who has won a national championship at Iowa, and we continue to chase the second one, and we're so very close. And it's an operations building at Grant Field is the missing piece of the puzzle for us. In order for us to compete against the best of the best, to continue to recruit the best, to develop the best, we need a facility at Grant Field, because our top competitors all have one. So, it's something that I'm so proud that we get to be a part of this campaign. I think the campaign is a game changer for all of our women's sports. I love what the campaign represents, just, female strength, female worth, investing in the female student athlete experience. And truly what we need is a partner, really. We have amazing Hawkeye fans out there, and what we're looking for, what I'd love to use this platform to tell our supporters is that, we really are looking for a really special future teammate that wants to be a part of our amazing team, and that can help make a profound impact going forward. Because, these women are unbelievable in this program, and they're great students, they're great hockey players, and I think they deserve a championship environment. So, I'm just so grateful for Hawkeye Women Rise. And I think, one of the challenges for us in fundraising is that a lot of, the sport, we don't play this sport at any level in the state, but we do find when people come and watch, they really enjoy it. It's exciting, it's physical, the women are athletic. And we're just really thankful that this campaign is in progress and can let us, tell everyone about field hockey and the awesome women on our team.
Beth, you've done such an incredible job in outreach in getting to know our donors and our wonderful Hawkeye fan base. And there's so many donors that love being a part of our team. And I think what Lisa's talking about is being able to find that next teammate wouldn't you want to be a part of Iowa field hockey team?
Yeah, just what she said right there, right? It's the passion that she has for the program, but that's what separates Iowa from many other places that I've had an opportunity to be, is that when you say you want people to be part of your team, that's how we operate here, and certainly within the walls of Carver and every other facility that we have. But we have teammates all across the state, and it makes it special to go through these journeys and for everyone that's involved to be a part of the impact that they have on these young men and young women in this case throughout their journeys. And that journey isn't just the 4 years in Iowa. You're a part of setting them up for the next 40 years of success in their life. And being in Hawkeye just means so much to them today and for their trajectory after graduation.
Yeah, and I would just, again, reiterate, if we got Hawkeye fans out there and they want to be able to contribute and join this incredible team in their efforts, like you said, get a hold of our Senior Director of Development, Sloan and Tyler, and we definitely would welcome you into our Hawkeye family. That's an amazing way to continue to support Iowa athletics. The other amazing way is what you alluded to, Beth, is just being able to come out and support our student athletes. And I always wanted just to kind of give a little shout out in terms of the upcoming things that we have going on. We have season tickets now available for women's gymnastics, which is going to be really exciting. They are on sale through the UI Athletics ticket office, and they open the season on January 12th, hosting Washington at 6:30. And right here at Extreme Arena. And right before January 12th, we're going to have the opportunity to, on our next podcast on January 9th, to have Coach Lursa Libby talk to us about her team and give us a preview of the season. So we're so excited about that. They had just recently gone into the preseason rankings at 23 in the nation. There are 9 Big Ten teams in the top 30, so the Big Ten season is going to be amazing for women's gymnastics, and they put on a great show, and definitely something you don't want to miss in town. We also have a very exciting doubleheader coming up, and so that's our men's and women's Hawkeye basketball playing in Des Moines this upcoming Saturday at the Hawkeye Hy-Vee Showcase in Des Moines. That's really exciting, Beth.
Oh, it is, and it's so neat that, we love being at home, but Des Moines is home as well, and so a second home in the state and an opportunity to bring the show a little bit closer to our fans there, I think is going to be incredible. And it's just so wonderful too when our teams work together to find the great opportunity, and so finding an opportunity for them to go back to back there is going to be really special. And leading into the holidays, it's just a wonderful opportunity to showcase those two teams in the middle of our state. So we're excited.
Men starting at 3:30, and they're playing Florida A&M. The men are playing Florida A&M at 3:30, yes, and the women are playing Cleveland State at 6. And our women currently are 3 in the nation, I believe.
4.
They're 4 in the nation. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, women's swim and dive, I wanted to give them a shout out. They just finished a meet last weekend and part of the Cy-Hawk series and had a win over Iowa State. Congrats to them. That always feels good. They will be back in action in 2024, starting down at Miami. And men's and women's wrestling are hosting the Soldier Salute here also at Extreme Arena. You get to see both teams in action. That is December 29th and 30th, and tickets are now available. That sure seems like an incredible event.
Well, it is. It just showcases the sport so incredibly well, and I know, Clarissa and her team had an opportunity to watch some of her athletes at least compete in the open format last year, but now to get a chance to see them do that wearing the Tiger Hawk, it's another special moment, and I'm sure we may talk a little bit about what it was like to host the first ever women's wrestling duel here on campus and how that played out a little bit later. But it's a really just an incredible group of young women, and to watch what they do. And in that environment, you're going to have wrestling programs from all over, so you're going to get to see some of the best.
We have such a wonderful collaboration here in Iowa River Landing with all these events. We talk about women's gymnastics, wrestling taking place at Extreme Arena. We love the Iowa Athletic Club for hosting us here, and the Iowa Sports Commission for being able to be such a good sponsor of this podcast and our Iowa athletics. We're so grateful for that. This is a testament to our great community and really a wonderful little center right here in the Iowa River Landing. When we come back, we're going to start our second segment of the show, which is we're going to call Inspire Her. And if we've got two wonderful women that can definitely inspire us, it's these two lovely ladies next to me. So hold tight and we'll be right back.
The Iowa City Area Sports Commission is responsible for our community being home to countless amateur sporting events and state tournaments. From state volleyball, wrestling, tennis, and much, much more, the Sports Commission generates significant annual economic impact while adding substantially to our quality of life. The Iowa City Area Sports Commission is a proud presenting sponsor of UI Women's Athletics. Learn more at wegotnext.org.
Hawkeye Women Rise is our campaign to support all women's athletic teams here at Iowa. We are building a practice facility for our gymnastics program and spirit squads, and an operations building for our field hockey team, and that's just the beginning. These projects and the goals and plans ahead will be made possible thanks to the generous support of our donors and friends. Selling out the home women's basketball schedule and our first trip to the national championship game are two accomplishments we are really proud of, and you are part of that. We plan to keep it going, and we do that thanks to your generous support. The women who wear the black and gold are capable of absolutely amazing things. Thank you for providing the resources and the support for them to passionately pursue their goals. Please visit HawkeyeWomenRise.org to learn more.
And welcome back to the Athletic Club here at the Iowa River Landing. We're back on a Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, and this is our second segment, which we love calling Inspire Her. And I'm so excited here to be joined with our interim athletic director, Beth Goetz, and our head field hockey coach, Lisa Cellucci. Beth, I wanted to go back and ask you a little bit about a week in time that I think was really an incredible week. And it took place this fall. It was the week of November 6th. And that week for you, I think you really logged some miles, and it was pretty exciting. So mind if we maybe walk through that week and share that with our Hawk fans?
Not at all, and I'm happy to do that week over and over again moving forward, because it was really, really special. So
it started on that Thursday evening with a really, first of its kind women's basketball game in Charlotte, Iowa women's basketball against Virginia Tech. Talk a little bit about that game, how it came to be, and why that was so unique, and really kind of defining maybe for the future of some collegiate women's sport.
Just before that, because I was thinking about the date. So on that Sunday, we won a Big Ten championship in women's soccer. So on the 6th.
That's right.
Leading into that week, which was just an incredible run for Dave and his program. It was so fun to watch. And then you get to that later that week, and a rematch of two Final Four teams in Virginia Tech. It was done in a way that is unique and new in women's basketball in terms of the way they put together that event at a neutral site. As always, wherever we are is Hawkeye something, and in that case, we were in Hawkeye South, I suppose, but it was just an incredible environment. Two of the top teams in the country. And I can remember sitting there in that game thinking, oh my gosh, we got to do this 30 more times, because it was just so incredibly intense. But it was a special environment, and as always, Coach Bluter has the team and ready to go, and they were up to the occasion. It was really a postseason environment to kick off the year.
And then the next day, you have two teams in postseason play. Field hockey is making their 28th Sweet 16 appearance in Evanston, Illinois. That's a 2:30 start. And then back here in Iowa City, our soccer team, coming off a Big Ten championship, is hosting first round of NCAAs in Iowa City. And you make it to both events.
Well, our poor team, because all week I kept saying, no, I'm going to be at I'm going to be at both, and they kept saying, I'm not sure that is going to really work out. But we made it happen, and got to obviously up to Chicago, and Lisa's team is just incredible, the way they compete, and to watch them. And while it's always disappointing when the result doesn't come out the way you want, they fought. It was an incredible competition against, with two of the best teams in the country. And again, you've got to tell people about this freshman. I mean, Dion, as she said, an All-American, and she's phenomenal, and she is the Caitlin Clark of women's field hockey. But watching her play that day was just outstanding.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for being there. Yes, Dion is amazing. I mean, I don't know if there's another freshman who was a first-team National All-American, and to have her be a part of our program and how she's impacted us. First and foremost, she's so humble, but she's just an outstanding hockey player, and she's like wise beyond her years with the game right now. And she ended the season leading the nation in points and goals scored. So she's a statistical champion in both, and she just unbelievably elevated the play for our team and is embraced by all of her teammates. And she was surrounded by some fantastic players. We have some great student athletes on our team, and they're unbelievable hockey players, and they all fill their role really well. But Dion really helped set us apart this year.
You had the opening weekend, and you guys upset number 1 UNC at UNC, and that was really kind of the breakout of Dion. And talk a little bit about that weekend, that game, and then after that, the scout was out. Dion was definitely getting double teamed from the rest of the season on, and testament to her to be able to still score.
Yeah, well, I mean, that weekend, the Big Ten ACC Challenge, we always open the season that way, and number 1 North Carolina and number 10 Wake Forest, and all of the goals in all the 7 goals in the game, both games are scored by freshmen. So when I said we're excited about our future, that's exactly why. It was just an unbelievable weekend. Again, a lot of unknowns, but we went into it. The team was dialed in, and they bought into the game plan, and they just played so free and so fantastic. And our upperclassmen, Harper Dunn, Esme Gibson, Sophie Strybos, just fantastic performances over the weekend. So it really set us up. But you're right, the scout was out, but Dion continued to score for, I think it was 6 weeks. She scored at least 2 or 3 goals a game. So that was unbelievable.
Incredible. And really, we can start to kind of be a little numb to some of this, but to have 2 teams in the NCAA tournament on the same day, that's very special.
Well, we come back, after field hockey, I get back here to Iowa City, and we've set a record in attendance, and for the first round of the women's tournament, and again, we dominated that game from start to finish. It was so great to see the environment we had, and then and sometimes in actually both of our crazy sports, finding the back of the net isn't always as easy as it looks like. But overtime, Josie Durr, who kept coming up as the hero over and over during that run, put one in. It was really just an incredible thing for women's soccer, and obviously they went on to the next round as well. And we're just so proud of the season that Dave had finished in the top 25, which is a first in program history as well. So just exciting there. And then we rolled right into a sold-out crowd, football at Rutgers at home the next day, and another victory, obviously. And we all know football obviously made a run to the Big Ten championship game and is going to get to play against Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. And what an incredible season that group has had. And then Sunday, women's wrestling. So the official first launch home event, a world record in attendance, over 8,000 people there. And just a phenomenal, special, emotional thing to see what they had a chance to be a part of, and so grateful so many came out to support them and really get a look at what they could do. Coach will have to tell you just exactly how this works, but you kind of go in, and obviously you can't be ranked, and that is a brand new program, and boy, do they make it look easy. We know how much work they put in behind the scenes, but those young women are just phenomenal and just completely dominated as they were out there that day. And it was neat to see everybody in our community, just our passionate fan base, rally around them and commit to supporting that sport and learning about that sport.
Big Ten championship, an amazing neutral site women's basketball game, 2 postseason plays, sold out. Football, setting attendance records, 2,800 at soccer, 8,600 at women's wrestling. As you reflect back on that, what are your thoughts about that week and the vision going forward, and I just think that that's pretty special, and it just kind of takes a little bit moment to kind of like really be able to absorb that.
Yeah, it's tough to process. And I mean, we're talking about a weekend time, but I mean, it's hard to not think too about the 55,000 people that were in Kinnick to watch women's basketball play, a little bit earlier. But yeah, it is when you think back about how far women's sports have come, and the opportunity to do this now is certainly all of that history culminating. But the other piece that we cannot take for granted is the character of the individuals that are in this moment that have chosen to be great representatives of the University of Iowa and of the state. They are great people in and out of competition, and they've used this platform to bring so many others along with them, young women, young girls that are looking up to them, the fan base, and now just not in our state, but no matter where you go, people are talking about how phenomenal our women's sports programs are at the University of Iowa, and it's really humbling to be a part of and to know we get to live this every single day. We get to walk the halls and walk past these All-American athletes and Dion and Caitlin Clark and these amazing coaches. So it's special.
I wasn't able to be in person at the field hockey game, but I was listening on the telecast, and the Big Ten announcer during the game made the statement that the University of Iowa is the epicenter of collegiate women's sports. And boy, that gives you goosebumps. And especially saying it during that week, I think that really was something that registers with a lot of people, and that it's getting noticed outside of Iowa City, the special things that are happening here.
And you two built that from the ground up. I mean, it's such a cool part of this story here, if anybody doesn't know, that these two were student athletes at Iowa together and now get to coach their own in their respective sports alongside of each other, and just building that over time, and the friendships that you build and the impact you're making on so many young women is amazing. And so that's your legacy. What you just said is the legacy that you two built and are a part of and are continuing to grow.
Wow, thank you, Beth. Thank you. Switching gears a little bit, I know going over to these home events is really fun, and that's a big part of the job, but also just the day-to-day operations and the sports supervision, I think is something that our Hawkeye community might enjoy hearing. And I know this fall you had the opportunity to be the sports supervisor of field hockey in addition to some other sports, but I thought I'd start with Lisa a little bit and just get your insight in terms of being able to work with Beth and what that was like for you to be able to have Beth as an interim AD helping you throughout the season.
Sure, I'd love to start. And I have a lot to say about this topic. And I know Beth is not going to enjoy this because she's so humble and doesn't like the focus on her. But it's an honor to have Beth be our sports supervisor and obviously our interim athletic director. And she's had an unbelievable impact on Iowa athletics in just such a short time here. And she really has been one of the best administrators and leaders I've had the privilege to work with, and I think there's a lot that sets her apart. But first and foremost, in my opinion, she's a championship communicator. So she listens with great intention. She really takes a lot in. She responds instead of reacts and maintains great perspective. And it's just really provides a really unique perspective, and as a coach, that she walked in your shoes. So we have the ability to have conversations all the time about team dynamics and culture and just the day-to-day things that you go through as a coach, which is fantastic because I definitely have a tendency to get way ahead of myself sometimes. So it's been really nice to have someone who's been able to challenge me with just asking deeper questions and have me think of things in a different way. And Beth has been able to do that for me. We get a chance to meet sometimes every 2 weeks and talk about a lot of different things. But I just really appreciate her presence too in our team. And I know she has a lot on her plate, and she's found the time to be able to get out to practice at Grandfield, to all of our games. And my staff and my team, they feel that investment, and that's like a game changer. So, I remember a moment, I think football played at Penn State late in September, and it was like a late game, and I don't think they got back till probably 2 or 3 in the morning, and she was at Grandfield at practice at 11 a.m. on that Sunday, and that meant a lot to our program for sure. So, it's been just wonderful to be having her lead us forward.
Also, I think it's pretty interesting to have you have the perspective of soccer. And how has that been able to have the commonalities in field hockey and the conversations that you guys have had together?
Yeah, so the first field hockey program I was ever around, the coach, one of the things that she had shared with me that was incredibly helpful about learning the sport was to look at it like the one that I played. And so that perspective has been incredible because there are so many similarities. So actually, I think it was during preseason this year, I went to soccer practice and field hockey practice on the same day, and almost watched identical drills.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I will use soccer language. And again, Lisa's been really patient because it's just, it's fun for me to really understand what they're doing. It has no impact on the team, or we're not giving advice, as a sport administrator on how they play. But I enjoy that part of it. But I'll use soccer language to ask, hey, it looks to me like you are working on transitioning out of the back or whatever it might be, and she'll tell me what they call that in field hockey, but they are very similar sports. So it's really helped me increase my knowledge of the game, and it just makes it more fun to watch and cheer them on.
Kind of pulling the lens back a little bit, could be really fun just to hear your overall vision for Iowa athletics.
Well, I think we see each and every day from our seats, and I know all of our fans see this as well, but this, there's just no limit to what Iowa can accomplish. And a lot of times, certainly we're talking about wins and losses, and to be sure, we want to win. I don't want to downplay that. I think we should talk about winning, but I think winning means a lot of things. It's winning in the fields of competition, and it's continuing to win in the classroom. And the prize really is, how do we help them to win in life, and use these experiences that set them apart. You get different experiences, you learn different skill sets as an athlete, and certainly as an athlete at this level, that are going to prepare them to go out and be leaders in their communities and in their fields of choice from a career standpoint. And we can do that. We can do that with intention. We can do that in an environment where everything around us might be changing, and it is in college athletics, because we know what our identity is. And so I think as we continue to do that, continue to invite others to come along with us, to really engage with all the resources we have on a campus and across the state, we can continue to be that school that they refer to as being the epicenter of women's sports and men's sports, and do it in a way that's going to be long-lasting and leave a legacy.
Lisa, being able to work so closely with Beth, hear this vision, be able to have the conversations that you've had with her, what's it been like to have a female leader in this role at Iowa for you?
It's been amazing. I think, the first word that comes to mind is just proud. Really proud and really hopeful, and it's been very exciting. And anybody who knows me well knows that one of the biggest mentors in my life was Dr. Christine Grant, who was the women's athletic director when I was playing here. And she believed a sport experience could really empower a woman, better than any other experience. And I know she worked her life to make sure that women had leadership roles in all areas of society. And, it's not lost on me that, in this critical moment of college athletics, that we have an incredible leader moving us forward, and she happens to be a woman. So, it was a real full circle moment for me this fall. I have to be honest that, it's been such an honor to be the head coach here, but for years I would look down the right to my sideline and at the sideline and see Dr. Grant standing there smiling really proudly. And this fall I got to look to my right down the sideline, and I saw Beth standing there, and a woman who was empowered through sport, and just really proud.
Wow, that's cool. Very, very cool. Well, that's definitely our Inspire Her segment. Very lovely for all of us to be able to have, and I appreciate you guys both sharing all of those stories. We get to come back with a third, so hang on, a third segment. And this segment is we get to take questions from our audience. So all of you out there, if you've got some questions for our interim athletic director, Beth Goetz, and our head field hockey coach, Lisa Cellucci, get those submitted, and we'll be right back with them answering your questions.
Who would have thought that a small-town kid from Iowa would be here today?
Can't thank them enough for all they've done. And each and every one of these guys really has embodied, what it means to be a Hawkeye.
Seriously, this is a great moment for us as a university. We have an incredible thing here, and we're not done yet.
The Portland Trail Blazers select Chris Murray from the University of Iowa.
Fans rise to their feet at a packed Dwayne Banks Field today.
called third strike.
The thing that I appreciate the most about Spencer Lee is he never batted an eye and shied away from it because he is a ferocious competitor. Make no mistake about it.
To the very last second till we're running out the clock. Sanford! Who got it? Inconceivable! Iowa wins it!
How did this team do it? Very few thought you could.
You know, all we do is believe in one another, and we love each other to death. And that's what a true team is.
There's nothing like being a part of Hawkeye Nation.
We gon' take it to the top. We ain't never giving up. We ain't never gonna stop to the very last second till we're running out the clock.
Here's Clark. She fires. The Hawkeyes are headed to the national championship game.
We're going to the national championship. To the very last second till we're running out the clock. We ain't never backing down. We ain't never gonna stop. We gon' take it to the limit. We gon' take it to the top. We ain't never giving up. We ain't never gonna stop to the very last second till we're running out the clock.
The Hawkeye Women Rise campaign was launched to fundraise resources for all 14 of our women's sports, generating resources that will allow us to continue to build on the storied success we have here at Iowa. Hawkeye Women Rise will focus on facilities, endowments, scholarships, and other identified needs for our women's programs. Two critical priorities include a state-of-the-art practice facility that will serve our gymnastics, cheer, and dance teams, as well as an operations facility for our nationally competitive field hockey program that will keep us on par with the best programs in the country. Iowa Athletics has been at the forefront of supporting women in sports for 50 years. With your investment in Hawkeye Women Rise, there is no limit to what our female student athletes can accomplish. Please visit HawkeyeWomenRise.org to learn more.
Welcome back to Hawkeye Women Rise. This is our final segment where we get to take questions from our Hawkeye fan base. We're so excited to have you all here in person, and thank you for asking some great questions of our two guests, Interim Athletic Director Beth Goetz and Head Field Hockey Coach Lisa Cellucci. We got a question for you, Beth. Our first question from our audience is, what is your advice for young women who want to lead?
I always love that question because you almost wish you could be telling your younger self, because the advice you give isn't necessarily the advice you follow. But, I think it is, don't be fearful and, just say yes to every opportunity in front of you. There's so many things that are in front of you. And I know we want people to have plans and to have a vision. But I think when you are a young, whether you're a young athlete or a young professional, you just don't know exactly where your passion's going to lie, where your path's going to lead. And so you want to be open-minded. So without fear, say, hey, yes, I'm going to explore this. I'm going to try it out. We don't have to have everything figured out. But without abandon, just say, hey, let's see where this might take me.
Lisa, how many plays for penalty corners do you have?
Per game, we usually have anywhere between 12 to 18 that we'll have on a piece of paper. I'm sure if my staff would like me only to have 5, but we have about 12 to 18 different plays depending on. Normally we only call about 5 or 6.
You can't see this, but your staff behind you might be saying there are a few more than that.
I mean, we technically have 25 to 30 that we could use, but on a sheet we have about 12 to 18. But our associate head coach Michael Bowl loves to tell me to just cut it down. So we try.
So when you're going through that list and you got to make a decision on which play, how much time do you have to decide which play you're going to call in?
Quite quick, but we do a ton of scouting beforehand, so we usually know what the first play is going to be, and then we do have video to the bench that we can review if there's multiple corners happening, so then we can take a look and call the next play.
I like that. Have you ever made a last minute change of mind?
Yes, that happened this fall against Louisville. Actually called a penalty corner in, and as the team was huddled and then the defense set up, and I was like, no, and we gave it to Dion. She scored, and we won the game. So it worked out perfect. Yeah, but we have.
That's got to be one of the plays.
Yeah.
Give it to Dion. Okay, Beth, were you surprised how popular women's sports are in Iowa?
You know, I really wasn't, because from the outside, when you're not living in it every day, I mean, everyone knows what Iowa's accomplished over the years. And while I didn't have a chance to know Dr. Grant, I heard her speak several times. I was introduced to her a few times, and so you know, that reputation that Iowa has for supporting women's sports is really well known. So you're watching that from afar, from a distance, and certainly have had an opportunity while at other institutions to compete against to compete against the Hawks. And so, but when something even as strong as I knew it was, and as special as I knew it was, when something exceeds your expectations and it's already wonderful to begin with. I mean, that was just really special to get here and then experience what it's like, and it just it exceeds anything I dreamed of.
Okay, Lisa, we got a question going back to field hockey. This Hawkeye fan's wondering, where do most of your athletes come from? Where are the hotbeds of field hockey?
Hotbed of field hockey is out east, really in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland areas where probably the most population of the sport is. It's one of the most popular sports in the world. So we do have a lot of players that come from Europe. We've had some from Australia, from New Zealand. So, you know, we have about 6 international players on our team, and then really the rest come from the majority of the East Coast. We have a couple from Illinois, St. Louis. There's some small pockets there, but out east is the big place.
And the makeup of your roster, worldwide?
Worldwide, yes. So England, Belgium, Holland. Like I said, we had Australia, New Zealand. We've had athletes from California, all over the place.
Yeah, it's really a full international experience.
It really is, yes. And they love coming to Iowa City, especially the international student athletes. This is a really professional experience for them, and all the resources that we have for our student athletes, they are blown away by. And then just the real sense of kind of community and the people of Iowa. And, you know, it's a big part of our recruiting. It's a big challenge to get people to come here, but once we get them on campus for a visit, they're blown away just by what Iowa City is, what the university is, what a world-class institution, and just the people they interact with.
Okay, we got one more question for each of you, and it's the same question. We are getting some questions about if you could play another sport, which sport would you have played?
Oh, see, now that's a tough one. Even though field hockey is very similar to soccer, I'm not sure my skill set would have translated along the way. You know, I played basketball and softball growing up, so those were two I really enjoyed. But you know, I've said this to Jeff Garbutt. I think just, you know, I'm tall enough, I have the build that if I would have arrived on a college campus and wasn't already playing a sport, I'm wondering if and we've got some rowing coaches here today. I'm wondering if maybe they would have recruited me.
100% they would have.
It's a great team effort. You get to be outdoors. So I think I might say rowing.
Rowing. It's beautiful out there on those fall afternoons
so
on the Iowa River.
It really is.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. Lise?
Hands down basketball.
Okay.
I loved basketball. That's what I wanted to play. I was too slow. But I mean, I practiced basketball all the time. Little spin dribbles around bumpers of cars and dribble around the block with my dad. Loved basketball.
I can see that.
Would totally want to play that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, you both are number 12s. But number 1 in my book. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been really special. We will be back in 2024 on January 9th, starting Hawkeye Women Rise. We'll have our Iowa dance coach, Jenny Eustace, with us, and also our head women's gymnastics coach, Larissa Libby. So I'm looking forward to starting the new year with both those women. Thanks as always. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And as always, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
This has been the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, presented by the Iowa City Area Sports Commission. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game content, and more. Until next time, on Iowa, and go Hawks! The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.